I got broads in Atlanta. Just took the lean in the family. Credit cards and the scammers.
Now back to our top story. Senators are still reviewing the FBI report on Brett Kavanaugh as the partisan battle heats up over its findings and the Senate gears up for a critical confirmation vote. How are Republicans reacting to the FBI's Kavanaugh report? Well, we now bring in Senator John Cornyn from the great state of Texas for the very latest. It's very good to have you, Senator. You can help us understand all of this. I wanted to ask you this. Do you think that the Democrats have managed in all of this to energize the Republicans and disappoint their own base?
Well, I think when we confirm Brett Kavanaugh, which I predict we will on Saturday, I think that will be the outcome. Yes. Of course, we could have had a more dignified way to consider Dr. Ford's allegations through the normal process. But since Senator Feinstein sat on those allegations for about 6 weeks and dropped them on us after the hearing, the first hearing on Judge Kavanaugh, we got into this, I think, circus where there were no rules and the end seemed to justify the means. So, but yeah, this could have been handled much better, and I think in a way that would have been more dignified, more protective of Dr. Ford and the judge.
We're going to take it around the table, sir. I'm going to start with Judge Jeanine.
All right. Senator, thanks so much for being with us. You know, I noticed that you yielded your time to the prosecutor. And in the end, what you're looking for is to have the public know what is in those FBI 302 reports. Now, you know that that would establish a precedent. I mean, don't you think it would be a dangerous precedent? And I have an idea. And that is, if you want to give them the FBI report, how about they give you the therapist notes?
That would be the ordinary procedure, as you know, Judge. And but the reason why we decided to ask Rachel Mitchell to ask the questions of Dr. Ford is because we know we would have been criticized for having aging white men asking a victim of sexual assault hard questions, but we really needed to have answers to the questions in order to test her story. As you know, there's been no corroboration whatsoever. In fact, all of the people she's identified have refuted her version of the story. But again, something happened to Dr. Ford, but we weren't given the benefit of her therapist notes, which I think would have shed a lot of light on that.
All right, Jesse Waters.
Hey, Senator Cornyn, I just wanted to know, has your relationship with your Senate Democrat colleagues on the other side fundamentally changed after how they behaved within the last 2 months? Because I've never seen Chuck Grassley, who's pretty even-tempered, so animated and so angry at some of the behavior coming out of the other side that it looks to me like it's beyond repair. What's your assessment of your relationship now?
My favorite Chuck Grassley saying is, just because I'm yelling at you doesn't mean I'm mad at you.
Okay.
But this is strained relationships and the trust that's always important, particularly in the legislative process. We understand that we're adults and we know what's at stake here, or have different views. But we've been getting a lot of things done under this administration with Republican majorities in the House and the Senate. But this process is not one I would ever want to see repeated for anybody, for any nominee, Republican or Democrat, nor for any witness who comes before the committee. I think it's been shameful.
Greg Gutfeld.
Hey, Senator, I have, in this process, I've noticed a lot of laws being broken. Well, one of them was a 27-year-old Democrat intern, who's 27, who doxed a number of Republicans who were pro-Kavanaugh, putting their private information public. That fellow, name is Costco, was arrested by D.C. Metro. I want to know what's going to happen to him, but I also want to know, is anything going to be done with Avenatti or any of the people that he worked with? Because it seems to me he broke some laws.
Yeah, well, this doxing so-called incident, which I wasn't familiar with the term, but you described it. Yeah. This person who's been now charged with this crime will be charged with, as I understand, multiple offenses. And so this is nothing to toy around with. This is serious business. Unfortunately, the Capitol Police and the Metro Police are handling this seriously. As far as Mr. Avenatti's concerned, I wasn't eager to provide him a platform for more of his publicity seeking. Obviously, the allegations made by Ms. Svetnick, nobody corroborated those. She's walked back from those. Witnesses that were asked, like Mark Judge, about that said no way didn't happen. So again, we're left with no corroboration, no confirmation of any of these terrible allegations, and the judge's unequivocal denial that it ever happened under penalty of felony.
How can he not be disbarred? I mean, he's now in the Sharpton, Mason, Maddox, phase of this, a very Tawana Brawley-esque event.
Yeah, I think the way that Ms. Katz, the lawyer that Senator Feinstein recommended for Dr. Ford, and Mr. Avenatti and others have not distinguished themselves by their conduct, and I think perhaps the appropriate forum for them to be reviewed is through the Bar Association, through the Ethics Committee. They have disciplinary authority. They can discipline or even potentially disbar people for abusing their law license.
We have one last question from Juan Williams.
Senator Cornyn, you're such a dignified guy. I like you a lot, but I got to tell you, you're on a brawl here at the 5, so let's start the brawl.
We only have a minute.
When you have politicization of the Supreme Court, I would hope that would concern you, but I know that you refused to look at Merrick Garland. You said you wouldn't consider it, and now you're in a situation where Democrats are so upset over this process that's produced Judge Kavanaugh. I worry that the court itself is going to, like so many American institutions, absolutely go down in the trust factor among Americans.
Yeah, Juan, since the Bork hearings and where Bork became a verb, and those wars have escalated with the nuclear option by Harry Reid to pack the D.C. Circuit Court. Unfortunately, this has gotten worse and worse. I hope we've reached the end of that, and we can return to some more dignified process, both to the nominee and that would reflect well on the Senate. But this, we had a lot of hardball played, and unfortunately, I think we're reaping the whirlwind.
Well, but I think blocking, Merrick Garland just sticks in so many people's craw. The twice-elected president, and you won't let him even be considered. You might say Kavanaugh was unfairly treated, but gosh, you wouldn't even give Merrick Garland a chance, a fair hearing.
This is the Biden precedent. He said during a presidential election year that you don't confirm a Supreme Court justice. If Hillary Clinton had won, I don't think we'd be hearing anything about Merrick Garland, because she would have made that appointment. But because people chose President Trump, he chose differently. That's why I think people are so upset.
All right, we're going to give you the last word. Thank you, Senator Cornyn.
Thank you, Dana.